McNair gives it to George, running right up the middle. Touchdown! Titans! There are no flags on the field! It's a miracle!
Safety, now you're one-on-one with it.
Shows why he's the man! In trouble. Sack!
Ladies and gentlemen, Titan Nation, welcome back to another episode. Today, we have a guest, former Tennessee Titans safety, Johnathan Cyprien. How you doing today? What's up, Jay?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real well. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. We met actually at Avery Williamson's little shindig. It's Wow Studios that he's actually, I think it's coming out. I think it's coming along. I know I texted him a couple times and he's saying everything's going, and we met there and I was like, oh shit, what's up, man? Nice to meet you. And we have Florida ties. I'm a Florida boy, you're a Florida boy. I think you grew up where in
North Miami Beach, the
North
one and
Miami
only,
Beach.
man. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Don't
Okay.
forget the beach.
Okay,
Don't
North
forget the
Miami
beach.
Beach, Sweetwater, okay? Sweetwater.
Uh-uh.
And I grew up there and then moved to Kendall. But again, I know the area, FIU. I've been in that stomping grounds. I never went to FIU, but I did do a lot of partying over there. And I know the campus very well. So it's cool to have that tie-in with each other. So it's pretty cool to have a Miami person up in here, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. Thank you for having me on the platform.
Definitely, man. And growing up um, in Florida, how was it? Because you probably had a way different lifestyle than I did, man.
Did I?
A
We
little
both
bit.
Florida boys.
Yeah, I mean,
But
correct, correct.
but yeah, I mean, I think you start to realize how you grew up differently from people the older you get, the different crowds you begin to intertwine too, and that started at FIU for me,
Yeah.
leaving high school in North Miami Beach, and in a community that was a melting pot. We had Haitians, we had Latinos, Latinas, obviously Americans, Asians. We had just so many people in the area that I grew up in. I mean, football was king. We played in Miami-Dade County, and we played all the teams that are well known for a lot of athletes that come out of this area, like the Amari Coopers, Smith,
Yeah.
these guys, Kamal Ishmaels, I can the
Keep
list
the list
goes on
going.
and on. And it's crazy here in Florida. It seems like there's something in the water because so much of us end up going to the NFL.
Yep.
But man, it's warm. There's beaches. It's not warm, it's hot.
It's hot. It's hot.
And and we just got our own way of going about things here in Miami.
Definitely. And growing up in Miami, I know, especially knowing the FIU area, being like near Sweetwater and stuff, and all those towns and stuff. It's crazy just to see how much has grown around FIU, right? Because FIU, when I remember when I was there, it was really it's a really small school, and just within the years, just you could see the community and everything. It's grown over the years, man, compared to when you started and you were going there, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, absolutely. So look, when I got recruited there, it was 2009. Coach
Mhm.
Cristobal was the head coach. And when I got there, they were in the middle of developing the entire stadium that is now called Pitbull Stadium.
Yep.
So I remember, when we visited the school, we actually had a hard hat, me and my other high school teammates who they were all recruiting, and we
Mhm.
all walked through the unfinished stadium that we have today. And then for me to go there, obviously play there, play pretty well, and it
There.
was your neighborhood in Sweetwater.
Yep. Yep. And you when you were there, I think you broke some records, right? Some for FIU.
Oh yeah, man. I did. I was blessed enough to put my name in the record books. And now that I think about it, especially with the transfer portal, man,
Hmm.
I've been in those record books for a long time. It's gonna be hard to beat me if you don't go to a school for 4 years, you know?
Yep. I mean, that's something that's amazing. But before we get to FIU, was there any other schools that you had in mind that you wanted to maybe, I mean, you had UM, right? UM was down down the street, not too far from FIU. You had Tallahassee, 6 hours away. You had Gainesville. Any of those kind of pique your interest or?
Well, I wasn't a big recruit coming out of high school. I was
Mhm.
kind of like a late bloomer, if you
Okay.
want to call it that. And my senior year is where I really kind of made strides into getting into college.
Hmm.
And I played both tight end and safety linebacker in high school. I
Hmm.
ended up earning two scholarships. FIU was the first school to offer me, and behind them was actually Western Michigan, who offered me as well. So those are the two schools. Those were the two options I had. I picked FIU, and it turned out to what it is today. Now, as a kid, the school that I always dreamed of going to,
Hmm.
it it's not going to be too common, but it was actually Texas Longhorns.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
that white and that burnt orange. I don't know what it, but it did something to me.
I mean, you had some legends going out from there as well. I mean, I know I live in Dallas now, and they are crazy about the Longhorns. But again, you you had some teammates that were Longhorns, Brian Orakpo being one of them. Orakpo, and yeah, the people in Texas, man, they take football very
Oh,
serious.
for sure, for sure. Damn, Jamal Charles was there too, right?
Yep, Jamal Charles.
Um, Vince Young. I don't know Vince Young too, but he was also a former Titan. We met before.
Mhm.
But yeah, those guys were doing their things back then, and I was a fan. I knew him about really Roy Williams going down the sideline with number 4. Vince Young did his thing. Uh, when they beat USC that year, it made me like it was just, oh yeah, for sure, that's the team.
Definitely. And was football your first go-to, or was there any other sports that you were kind of doing it as at the same time?
You know what? It was all football for me,
Oh, really?
especially. Yeah, it was. It was. I commend all the young athletes now who are playing in a lot of different sports. But let me tell you how it was in my neighborhood. It was just like, look, you play football and that's all you did.
Hmm.
But especially my head coach, Coach Brittany at North Miami Beach Senior High School, once you came into his hands, he wanted full control to be able to mold you into the player he wanted you to be for that team, man. So it's a big tradition over here, at least at my school. And fortunately, unfortunately, I only played football, but sure, you give me a tennis ball, man, and I'll play
You'll
with
learn
it.
it and you got it. That's awesome. So in FIU, you set multiple school records, 365 tackles, most starts at safety, and major honors like first team All Sun Belt. How did playing at FIU shape your identity on and off the field?
You know what? To be honest with you, FIU was, we were in the Sun Belt Conference at the time.
Hmm.
Conference USA was considered a better conference. Obviously, you have the Big Ten, you are ACC. So we were in a lower conference, and we would play teams like Alabama. We played the Rutgers. We played Louisville, and we played Florida when Tim Tebow was on the team. So I looked at where I was kind of being the underdog,
Hmm.
at FIU, similar to even the high school I came from in North Miami Beach. So, I kind of brought that same chip on my shoulder as I did coming from high school, right? To just be able to go out there and prove yourself that you belong and be excited for those moments.
Hmm.
I'll be honest with you, even though I walked through that stadium at FIU, and obviously I played in there. I was my first. Obviously, I played there for so long and had that rich history with it. When I would go to those places like Alabama, and
Hmm.
it's loud with 100,000 people in the stands for this game, and I can't even hear the people next to me.
Hmm.
That feeling I just remember made me want to play even more.
Harder. Yeah.
So that feeling there, literally being on defense, or even being on the sideline and hearing the crowd try to help their home team, right? And just however it would work, just hearing those big plays and hearing the sounds of the crowd kind of go crazy. It's dope. It's dope. And I enjoyed those experiences, but I definitely came like an underdog and wanted to come improve myself every time.
Definitely, man. Um, as FIU's highest ever draft pick, 33rd overall, going to Jacksonville, what pressures or motivations came with that milestone, and how did it start grounded, um, grounded going into NFL?
So, I mean, with me being picked as the 33rd pick overall, I mean, I just gotta say it was a huge blessing at that. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes for that to
Mhm.
happen, but it happened. Being from an underdog school, I was able to kind of prove myself on a level at the Senior Bowl where you're playing, not only you play a game, but you practice a whole week versus all of the other teams that I played, well, that played for conferences that were considered better or bigger than the Sun Belt.
Mhm.
And I went into that. I went on to play that game and participate in those practices in 2013, and I left with the MVP award for the defensive backs on the defense for the Senior Bowl that year. And that just propelled me
Uh,
to to new heights and really just opened a lot of coaches' eyes just to be able to
mhm.
look back at my tape to see what I actually did when I played those teams we talked about earlier.
Mhm.
And it got me a real high draft grade, which I'm so thankful of and blessed to be able to have the chance to get that. But as far as pressure, and what it took, what were the next steps. Honestly, I walked into Jacksonville and I just wanted to bring everything that I knew that I could to the secondary, to the team, still be respectful enough for whomever the vets were going to be when I got there. But yeah, I really took that first year to say, look, I'm going to make sure I'm a bright spot on this team, not from me, but for the older players, the veteran players, to make sure that they don't have to look out for me, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm not
I
slowing
got
them
this.
down.
Yeah.
I'm not the run of the litter.
Uh-huh. Well, and it probably good too. It kind of worked out, right? You kind of stayed in Florida, you played in FIU and you went to Jacksonville. Was there any other teams that were interested or that you thought you might have gone to? I mean, at that stage?
So look, it was a surprise on draft day. Like,
Okay.
so first of all, we had an option. This is what I was always told. You
Mhm.
may go the first round,
Uh-huh.
but definitely we got a second round grade for you.
Mhm.
So what I told myself to be able to prepare myself was I just put my mindset that I would be going in the second round, and I'll just leave it for me to be surprised if I did in the first round.
Mhm.
Now, this is just what I was thinking at the time because, it just, just, I don't know, it was just action. That's kind of what I did to be able to get my mind in the right place and just keep going and not worry about what I can't control.
Mhm.
But man, I sat beside my mom, my agent, and maybe two other people and watched the entire first round. And there was a few teams that we knew needed a safety.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, um, we were looking in the first round. We got all the way down to pick 32. And pick 32, at this time, there had already been three safeties taken off the board. Three safeties, which is a high probability that, hey, we might have more coming off. Um, I'm sorry, there was two safeties took it off the board. Two safeties took it off the board already, and I was rated like top four. And the Baltimore Ravens at pick number 32 select, and they don't call my name, right? They
Uh-huh.
end up picking a different safety from actually Florida, Matt Elam. So Matt Elam was the 32nd pick, and then the next day, uh, my agent told me that it was either going to be Philly or Cincinnati. Both of those teams needed a safety, and with three safeties going in the first round, we knew that it would be soon. So we didn't know it was going to be that soon. Jacksonville had the first pick of the second round. They had just picked up Luke Joko first pick overall, and instead of passing up on myself, they grabbed me, you know. So I woke up thinking that I would either go to Cincinnati or Philly,
And then
and
boom,
I
staying
was
in
in
state.
Jacksonville.
Also, and we're gonna yes, you got drafted by the Jags, but how was your time in Jacksonville? If you can sum it.
Uh, My time in Jacksonville was cool. It was very slower in Jacksonville, different from the fast-paced Miami life
Hmm.
or things to do there, right? So in Jacksonville, it was really just focused on football as far as myself on what I did. And I know I have this Jacksonville jersey back here,
I
and you
see
got
it.
all
I'm trying not to look at it, but go
you
ahead.
got all those Titan jerseys back there, you know. But I also have a Titans jersey, and it's just not in my office. It's in a different room.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. But other than that, what would you say? What best word would describe your time in Jacksonville?
Best way to describe my time in Jacksonville would just be grateful. You know what I mean? It was definitely some hardship. We didn't win too many games. You know,
Mhm,
I came in to an organization with a brand new head coach, a second year owner, and we had about, I remember we had like 100 to 200 transactions and in just one season or one camp,
mhm.
right? Which means, hey, you started the season with one person
You
and
might.
then that player was gone. This player was gone. So,
Yeah.
they were putting pieces together, adding people slowly but surely. And yeah, I was there at the very beginning where we had to go through those growing pains, you
Mhm.
know? So it was a lot for me as a leader on the team at that time at a very young age and not really learning how to win in the league yet, right? That's what I was chasing. How do you win in the league? How do you win? And unfortunately that didn't happen in Jacksonville too many times.
Mhm.
More, I wish it happened more than I could, but like I said, I came into Jacksonville and I just knew that I was gonna be a bright spot, not dim the light on whomever was on the field with me. And I think I ended up doing that while during my time there.
Absolutely. Now we get to the good part. We get to the meat and bones of transitioning, going to Tennessee, man. Okay. Um, what was the biggest adjustment moving from Jacksonville to Tennessee, both on and off the field?
On the field, well, off the field
Hmm.
was, Nashville was like a lively place. It's a lot more lively than Jacksonville at least.
Absolutely.
And you know, this was the first time I was, it's a big deal when you get your second deal going into a different team.
Mhm.
So for Tennessee and Mark Malarkey and John Robinson to believe in me and be able to bring me as a free agent to the team was cool. So I ended up moving into a condo.
Okay.
That was like on the highest floor I've been on before. You know what I mean? So I was able to. It was just a different way of life off the field,
Hmm.
and then on the field, the biggest thing I guess was just going into a new team, right? Creating like being a rookie again, but going to a team and wanting to prove yourself also, and not knowing where the locker room is or not knowing where the meeting rooms are. Just
Yeah.
having to get acclimated to that. That was really kind of like the big change for
So,
me.
so pretty much almost like going to a new team is like kind of starting, like you said, like starting to be like a rookie again. It's like your first time, you're trying to get adjusted to the locker room, trying not to step on too many toes, but at the same time, showing that you belong there, right? That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like being a rookie because, it's different coming in as a rookie than coming in as a established veteran who,
Who
you
has
know,
assignments?
who's gotten to a second deal. So it's more of like expectation for those to walk in. and a standard, right? To see, because they're looking at you just as we're looking at, as we're kind of finding our way in a new space as well. So I took it for what it was, confident in who I was and my capabilities and what I was going to be able to do there. And it was cool. It was a great way to gel. I still have a relationship with guys from that team to this day. For example, we met in Tennessee at an event that Avery Williamson was having for his Wild Studios.
Yep, definitely. And that's awesome to see that friendship still go from off the field. When you went to Tennessee, why'd you choose Tennessee?
I chose Tennessee because that was the team that was most interested in me. That was
Oh,
the team that I felt was offering, everything when it came to the contract amount
mhm,
and just speaking to me as a space that I know they wanted me by playing versus me in Jacksonville. They kind of understood me more than probably other teams could. And and by breaking down a team twice a year rather than just once whenever you play them, they were able to see a lot of things that I was able to do and the times that I played them, I'm sure. And even watching me on film when I'm playing versus other division opponents like the Texans, right? Or the Colts. So I think just when things you always want to pop out on tape. That's
mhm,
what, my coaches always told me. So, the things that you do, just, end up moving faster or making plays
mhm.
on the film, somebody who has to understand like who is that, right? So
Yeah,
I always did that, and I guess that's that's what they saw.
cool, cool. What part of your game did you focus on improving when you joined the Titans?
I definitely say, I guess, man to man,
Okay.
when it came to that time, coming from Jacksonville, we played a lot of cover three. We
Okay.
beat them as well, but when I got to Tennessee, we actually started playing quarters defense.
Mhm.
And mind you, let me tell you something. Quarters defense is what I played in college. Quarters defense is what got me drafted 33rd overall. Quarters defense is more my style of playing.
Mhm.
Um, Different because, you're in your zone, you're really just staying, protecting an area and waiting to react on a ball, right? Waiting to react on what happens in front of you rather
Mhm.
than it's a little bit more aggressive.
Okay.
So, and a little bit easier to, I guess, influence the quarterback one way or another. And easier for if you want to be able to come in and out of disguises. Maybe you're blitzing, maybe you're in coverage. It's a lot easier to do that from a quarters alignment than it is to do it from a you know cover three alignment or cover two alignment.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So I was excited about that. I was excited about it for sure. And yeah, coming to Tennessee, that's that's what I was ready to do. That's what I think I had to work on the most was just that man to man. Why? Because it was third down is when they called man to man. You got to stand up, third down.
Yeah, 100%. So when you went to Tennessee 2017, I mean, it was a hell of a squad. Um, the people you met, I mean, obviously, what was your first impression of Coach Malarkey when you met him?
Hard nose, like tough but light guy, tough but fair guy. I heard a lot about him because he was previously in Jacksonville,
But yep.
where I got to Jacksonville, and I think he exited Jacksonville. He went to Tennessee. I think he established a culture and a style of offense where it was under center with and then also backing up where he had Marcus Mariota to kind of be good at what he did.
Mhm.
And I think they were slowly but surely them being in my division. I saw them, I saw the Titans make draft pick after draft pick, move after move, and continue to get better.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was cool. We had a lot of great guys on that team.
definitely. Now, when you got to Tennessee, who did you um I just got closer with? Would it be like Kevin Byard just because he played alongside safety with you? Was it, I mean, you had Derek Morgan, you had Brian Orakpo. I mean, the list goes on and on of how many people. Jarrell Casey. I mean, that defense, that team was good, man. That team was good, man. I miss it.
Yeah, no, there was so many people. All of these guys are friends, was friends then and friends to this day.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, the one person that I had a bond with pretty much immediately was the person that I actually signed in free agency with, and that was Brendan Tarway.
Okay.
Yeah, so he signed, I think he was playing with the Baltimore Ravens, and he signed a free agent deal as a safety as well to
Hmm.
the Titans. So his specialty was really special teams. He actually went to the Pro Bowl one year. And yeah, man, we ended up traveling together.
Oh,
Yeah, outside of, on the off seasons, and got to know him. He lives in Atlanta, has a family, and still friends with him as well. But that was the person I came in contact with even
mhm.
before I signed, right?
Yeah.
And we stayed in contact, and we are pretty close then.
That's dope. That's cool, man. How would you describe the locker room culture in Tennessee?
I think it's cool. It's smooth. It's accountable at the same time, right?
Mhm.
It was I mean, we had good times in camp. We shaved a couple of rookies' heads, you know what I mean? We'll just, be playing basketball. We got a Dory Jackson literally putting the ball between his legs, doing a 360 dunk on the Fisher Price rim. I believe, that's one of the things that I think I did when I got to Tennessee, bringing in a Fisher Price, basketball hoop or whatever, something for guys to like loosen up and
Yeah,
something where we can kind of bond outside of just being in meetings and on the field.
absolutely.
Um, but yeah, locker room culture was cool. We had funny guys. Listen, Harry Douglas,
Hmm.
I mean, Twan, obviously Adoree, you know what? Um, Will Compton. Um, we had a lot of characters.
Hmm. Still to this day, I mean, Will's pretty funny as he's doing busting with the boys and stuff like that. You just
Yeah, yeah. Taylor Lewan,
yeah, yep, Taylor Lewan and all those guys, and that's a good. It was a good building block because it was so long that the Tennessee Titans were just such a just hard, just trying to get to the top or even be above 500 or have a winning season. And I feel like that season, everything kind of clicked. The team clicked. Um, and we'll talk about obviously getting to the playoffs and playing against the Chiefs and Arrowhead. But playing along Kevin Byard, how did your styles complement each other in the secondary?
Okay, so Kevin, man, Kevin was a great player and a real great player. Well, is a great player, and it was so dope to play beside him. He was still on his rookie deal, his first 4 years,
Hmm.
and I was the veteran that came in, myself, and even Denoris Cersei.
Searchy.
Cersei there as well, right? And then so with that, I think early in the season, me and Cersei were still kind of like rotating,
Hmm.
which was I didn't understand that at the time when I was there. So which ultimately kind of made it harder for you to get into one accord with Kevin because so Kevin didn't rotate as much, right?
Gotcha.
But I think the as time went on, I ended up being more of a solid role when it came to playing safety. So as the year progressed,
Hmm.
I had an injury early that first season, which definitely helped, like, definitely crushed me, at least emotionally, personally, but it stopped me from having that yin and yang with Kevin.
Okay, I got you what you're
So
saying.
I missed 10 games, no, 7 games in 2017.
Hmm.
So that left only 10 games for me and Kevin to kind of like really gel.
Hmm.
So really, let's say 8 to 7 games is where we really were able to get on the same page, play off of each other, understand his strengths, and weaknesses, me understanding my strengths and weaknesses, and I would explain our relationship as something that blossomed. It blossomed because we made it all the way to the AFC wild card game and
Mhm.
won it.
Mhm.
And from there, going to see the Patriots in Foxborough. So, and we both, as you if you go back to those years, you'll see that the plays just kind of started to pile up, and they started. We did pretty great things back there, just to help the team get to the playoffs that year. So let me tell you, man, I was so looking forward to having a healthy season, playing beside Kevin the year after. When I
Mhm.
tell you, I just one just mentally, remember going back to the defense you played. I mean, look, that's a big thing. And if you're ever evaluating players or whatever the case may be, a lot of the times the system that they're in can really, affect on what their production is.
Okay.
A guy was playing in college and he was only doing one thing, but now he's playing for a defense that does a whole nother defense, right?
Totally change it.
Obviously things translate, right? Or you got a linebacker, he plays in a 4-3 defense, but now he's in a 3-4 defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see that they have potential. Coaches can identify what can translate, right? At
Mhm.
the same time, it's still it's still a learning curve. So that first year, and playing in defense where remember Coach LeBeau was calling the plays for us, but it was still a quarters defense, 3-4. And then for us to go to Coach Reed, I believe. No, I don't want to butcher him.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's fine.
no, our D coordinator in 2018 was
Dean
no
Pease, no?
Dean Pease. That's my guy,
Yeah.
okay?
Dean
Love
Pease.
Dean Pease. Love Dean Pease. Yeah.
We
So
did
yeah.
too. We did too as fans. We liked them a lot, man.
Yeah.
Um, so before, I mean, I do want to get to the injury side and the mental and physical toll on that. But before we get there, I do want to talk about that AFC wild card and playing against the Chiefs. And again, what a game, right? Come back, you win in Arrowhead. And I think I forgot who the other player was. I just watched the play not too long ago. And I don't wish harm on any player whatsoever. But your play against Travis Kelce changed that game completely.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't know who else tackled it. It was you and so, I forgot who the other person was.
It was
I don't.
I'm about to say John New, but it's man, no, my guy, 55.
Yeah, I mean I could put
Damn, the linebacker.
was not Jalen Brown, right? No.
Not Jalen Brown.
I'm trying to. So it's right here. Let me see who we got here.
He's the one who ripped. Oh no, that was Miles Jack. Nah,
It's a 12-yard rule, boy. Oh, boy.
55. Let's see. Who was it? Trying to see. He got hit. Who was it? Let me see.
Cyprien the head. The fans were cheering, as you heard, because Kelsey actually jogged off.
Oh my God, I
the
can't.
last 20.
I can't. And I see it too. And it's Kevin Byard, you, and that's gonna Odom. No, I can't. I can't see it.
Kelsey actually.
Whoever that hit alone changed the whole game, I think. And don't get me wrong, the defense played good. The offense, obviously, with Derrick Henry and and DeMarco Murray and stuff like that. But that play itself changed the whole game.
so let
The
me tell you, that day, the before we got on the field,
Mhm.
Coach Mike Malarkey, he tells me, he says, "Hey, Sip, you ever heard about what happens in cold games?" I said, "No, what happens in cold games?" Me being a Florida boy, played in Jacksonville. Remember, I never played really in cold.
Mhm.
He said, the hits are 10 times harder when it's cold outside. He just winked at me and walked off. I was like, oh, really? But no, that was a great, like, honestly, that was a great coaching tip. And I was, every time somebody touched the ball, I wanted to make sure that they didn't want to touch a ball again. So, my part of my game has always like been running and hitting. And if you're running, you have the ball, I'm going to hit you. And I just want everybody to not only know that when I'm on the field, but to put that on tape for the next team to know that I'm going to do it. Right. So that was just me running and hitting. And you're right, because in the first quarter, I think he had 65
Yeah,
yards.
he was shredding. Yeah, he was shredding us. Yeah.
He was
He was
going crazy.
Yeah, he was definitely shredding us. I'm like, something needs to happen because if not, this game's gonna get out of hand. I mean, it was getting out of hand, right? And like I said, that play, do you remember, was there, even on the sideline, like how do you mentally, and like you're down so much, right? In a playoff game, your season's on the line. How do you get there mentally? How do you just focus on one play? How does that work, man?
Yeah, to be honest with you, look, things are moving real fast for us on defense. We had a couple bust coverages. We had Tyreek Hill actually catch a drag route and kind of take it for 20 yards to where I remember myself and Wesley Woodyard, we both had a disagreement on whose responsibility it was.
Mhm.
Oh shoot, what else? There was one thing here, one thing there. I think I gave up a pass where I had to create the you know what we must have been schemed up for this, because my responsibility was to be in the flat, the high flat, which is on the sideline pretty much anywhere from 6 to 12 to 15 yards for you to be able to cover. So
Mhm.
Travis Kelce breaks off to the corner route, but then he takes it up straight, I think, and go towards a little bit like past that 15-yard threshold and catches it in the sweet spot between me and the corner. So like a lot of things were moving, and things that we kind of, I guess, didn't seem prepared for, right?
Mhm.
And they scored on us again. But exactly what you said is kind of like, look, what are you gonna do? You can't take it forever, right?
Mhm.
You gotta, we just started buckling down. It started about one stop, and then it started with another one, and it gave you the confidence that no, you could do it,
Mhm.
right? The first few plays that happened so early were things that caught us by surprise. But okay, now what do you got?
Yeah.
And once you get comfortable like that, you have a couple of stops, and then you get into just playing football, which is doing your job and running and hitting.
Mhm. Nice, man. And like I said, what a way to end the game and stuff. It was a really good moment. I remember, it's crazy. Like, do you remember moments and you remember where you're at? And I remember being it was, this was my first house in Texas, and I was just in the living room going like, no, I can't believe this is Marcus Mariota just threw a touchdown pass to himself and caught it. And we're coming back. Like, what kind of shit is this? Like, this is, and I was like, as a Titans fan, like, something's gonna happen. We're gonna end up losing. And it didn't, man. It was, like I said, it was crazy, man. It was a crazy time.
That was special, man. Let me tell you, that was the first time I was ever in the playoffs. After going through everything as far as like, being part of a rebuild, getting drafted into that.
Yeah.
Oh, for me to touch a playoff and for Titans to give me that opportunity, man. I mean, look, I played for 5 teams total in my NFL career, and I gotta say Tennessee was like the best place, my best experience. And I only got to play one season, 10 games, not even seven, not
Yeah.
even the whole 17. So,
Mhm.
but yeah,
It's good times. So if I would say, what was your favorite memory during your time with the Titans? Is it that playoff win?
yeah, it had to be that. It has to. For sure, for sure. I think that the very last play of that game was a shot pretty much towards the end zone. Alex Smith threw it, well, I don't know, 50 yards downfield, and I'm in a cover two man. I'm splitting the difference between an outside receiver and a receiver coming down the hash, and I have to I mean, for us safeties, Like, look, you got to just be disciplined. Like, you're looking at the quarterback, looking at you, and he's waiting for you to open your shoulders this way
Or
or
that.
open them that way. And it's either it's am I going to turn him before the pressure gets to him, or is the pressure going to get to him before my, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he throws the ball directly down the middle of the field in the seam. And I was able to just break on the ball. And I was actually going for interception until I saw how close the receiver was. And I just said, you know what, let me be safe and just and hit the ball, dislodged by. I made the hit, me and I think uh, uh Ryan Ryan was actually guarding him. He was underneath him.
Mhm.
And I just could see him looking at me to hope that I kind of dislodged the ball. And it happened. We celebrated, man. And Jayon Smith, that's his name, the linebacker, 55.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Looking back, what did your time in Tennessee mean to you personally and professionally?
Time in Tennessee meant to me, showed me a lot of professionalism when it came to just the nature of the game. Unfortunately, I got injured twice. I had a contract that was for 4 years, but it was cut short. I had to leave after two, you know. So that's just the business and the personal side of it that I was able to first time me being, well, not the first time, but me being able to see that. And you know, the personal side is just that I was happy in Nashville. I love the guys. I love what we were kind of growing into. I knew the future was bright,
Hmm.
and the future was bright for sure. And I think, after a banged up year going into the second one, it was going to be I had very high expectations just of, what I've already known. Like I said, unfortunately, that didn't end up happening. But yeah, that was it. That was it for me. That was the personal side of it. But a lot of love for Tennessee.
Definitely. And then after that, you guys, we win a playoff game, go to New England. We lose in New England against Tom Brady. Would you say that Tom Brady would be your um, toughest quarterback you ever faced?
I mean, I think Aaron Rodgers was like the toughest
Okay.
arm talent. Like he'd throw the ball somewhere, no matter if you're on the person or not.
Hmm.
They find a way to kind of catch. He finds a way to put the ball somewhere they can catch it.
Gotcha.
But Tom was just like, that was like very few times I'm on the field and there's nothing you can do about it. He would just, get up to the line, look at what we were in, change the play, 6 yard gain. Do
Yeah.
it again, 7 yard gain. Do it again. And then when you think you got him,
Hmm.
he makes a pass and the ball keeps going. So he was very impressive in that aspect. That was the first time I got to play him
Hmm.
because the other times we played the Patriots. I think I was out or injured in those games.
Hmm. Yeah, I had it's funny how I love hearing those answers, especially from like a safety's point of view, because I had it depends on like kind of like the era of football or the time frame. I had Bernard Pollard on when he played with us in
Yeah.
Tennessee, and he was saying that Peyton Manning was his quarterback that he just struggled with just because like he knew the stance, he just knew everything. Like anything that you kind of threw at Peyton Manning, he would just pick the defense so quickly. And that's got to suck though too, right? That's got to be frustrating as a player, just knowing that regardless of what you did, like you was still gonna sling it in there, right?
I mean, absolutely, yeah. But there's always something you can do, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's just that if you can't figure it out, if you don't have it planned out before you get to the game, is the issue, you
Gotcha.
know?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Then you had Mike Rabel. How was his coaching style? How did the team um accept Mike Rabel? Again, we come from first time the Titans been in the playoffs for God knows how long. They end up booting Mike Mularkey, and now you have Mike Rabel.
Yeah, so that was a big, a big shock. I know there was some controversy in the front office
Hmm.
on the direction on where I think the coordinators wanted to go, and was the head coach going to keep the coordinators or not, and the GM disagreeing. So they moved on from that, which was surprising after us having a pretty successful season and winning, I think, 10 games that season. It was 10-7 maybe, or 9-7,
Nine
one
and
or the
seven.
other.
Yep.
Yeah, so Mike comes in and nobody knows, right? We just know that he is a Hall of Fame caliber player. He played both sides of the ball. He played for a legendary time when the Patriots were doing well. And to be honest with you, he was kind of like a player's coach, but the player's coach where it's like he had a simple rule, and I'm sure this is kind of what he goes by to this day, which is, yo, if you're good to the team, I'm going to be good to you. If you're not good to the team, I'm not going to be good to you. Is the part where he would just tell you straight up, right? So if you're helping the team in the capacity where he feels like you're doing your job at a high level, whether it's on scout team or
Hmm.
you're a starter, right?
Okay.
You're just doing your job to the best of your ability. I think he was able to give you respect and admiration for what you did. But in the cases where you weren't doing those things, you're late more than you're on time, or you're doing things that undermines the team a little bit. Mike Weber was known to let you know about it a bit.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I know there's a couple players and stuff clashing sometimes with, I guess, the style because it's different. He's alpha, right? And he's it's the coach. I get it, but completely different styles. Um, Now in that season, right? Like you said, you got hurt early in the season, correct?
2018, I got hurt during training camp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was what, an ACL?
Yeah, it was an ACL.
Okay. So let's talk about the injury and the mental side. So for your ACL recovery, what was louder during your ACL recovery? Was it your physical pain or own thoughts? How does the mental game come in to rehab and just dealing with
What
that?
was the mental part? I think it's mental. The mental part of it was just troubling for me. One, and being a professional athlete, being able to do not only be able to walk and run, but be able to do it at a level that many people can't. And
Hmm.
then being constricted to saying you can't even walk without a crutches, or walk being on a wheelchair. These things just personally, like to that level, it made
Hmm.
me some type of way. On top of that, I think I was in the best shape that I've ever been. And I think I was going into year 6 where I think I've accumulated enough knowledge of the game to really like actually utilize it on the field, right?
Hmm.
Like so many older defensive backs that you see play for so long,
Hmm.
uh, it clicked at that time. So I had a lot of expectations for myself, and things were great. I was very happy. And then coming into camp, just August 1st actually of 2018 is when I tore my ACL during practice. So from doing it in practice, I never got to even touch the field. And yeah, I had to do the whole rehab process. So once it got to that, I'll just say initially it was very hard. The first, I don't know, 3 weeks, I don't know, maybe a month.
Hmm.
Once you have the surgery, and look, we got to control what you can control. The only thing I control is how I can come back now. So I just focused on, small victories, and worried on rehabbing and just supported the guys the best I could.
All right, all right. So through that rebuild, like how did you rebuild your trust with your own body after the injury? Did it ever feel like it was betrayal? Like you see a lot of these players, right? Like That's, basketball. Derrick Rose, after so many injuries, he was never quite the same. Is it something where like you guys are prone or nervous about re-injuring?
No, I don't think so. I don't
No?
think. I mean, you don't want it to happen, but I don't think anybody plays. I don't think anybody comes back to play in a case where they don't want a re-injury. Nothing like an ACL.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe now, look, if I don't want to re-injure a shoulder or something, you
Hmm.
can do things to kind of like, stay away from that. But something like a knee, nah.
Gotcha. And then you went on to playing for a couple other teams as well. Can you talk a little bit about your time you played with the Eagles, Falcons, 49ers, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to Philly.
Hmm.
So now Philly is the team who gave me the opportunity coming
Yep.
off my ACL.
Hmm.
And that was a great place too. That was the first time I was able to just play for a team with so much history in football
Hmm.
and being able to see it in the fan base, see it in the organization, and seeing it around the building, it was kind of special. And that city of Philadelphia is a little bit more lively as well, right? Maybe I don't know, maybe comparable to Tennessee, maybe not, but definitely a major marketable city. And I went there and I grew relationships there. I had a friend actually who I played in college with who was there, Jeremiah McKinnon.
Okay.
So, and then I met people that, I've always followed in Andrew Sandeo, Roddy McLeod, and Malcolm Jenkins. Those were the three safeties there. And they signed me. I'm like, yo, what the heck you need me here for? But there was a method, something that they wanted to do. They were very transparent with me. Howie Roseman is great. He does great at it. He's great at what he does, and I keep in contact with him to this day. Philly was a great experience, even though so I was there for all of training camp, which is 4 weeks, and then the first quarter of the year, which was all of September. So in November, the first of November, pretty much, I was traded to Atlanta. When I got to Atlanta, is where I suffered another season-ending injury, which was my plantar fasciitis.
Hmm.
So I sat out that year. I played 5 games, and I was out for the year. And then going into San Fran. Now this is another level as far as hmm, let's see, as far as just tradition
Hmm.
and and then even being on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I never lived on the West Coast before being from Florida, but the great thing about that was like, hey, let me try something new. Let me be on the West Coast. If I'm going to do it, I might as well do it while playing for an NFL team. The only bad thing about that is that it was during COVID.
Okay, yeah. It was a hot
So
mess.
I really wasn't able to do much.
Yeah, it was a hot mess. Those
Yeah.
COVID years were weird. But and when did you finally say like, hey, I think it's time to hang it up? Was it your body? Was it your mind? Was it a little bit of both?
No, so in San Francisco, unfortunately that year I tore a hamstring, right? So,
Mhm.
it was injury after injury, unfortunately, but I tore a hamstring. It was a grade 2 or 3 hamstring, so it's pretty serious, where you had to sit out a minimum of 4 weeks. So I ended up leaving Nashville. I'm sorry, leaving San Fran. And during the off season, I decided to get a pretty much a shot in my knee where I had the ACL. So this is
Okay.
the first. So now I leave San Francisco. I mean, it's a hamstring, but it's not a major injury.
Hmm.
So I'm happy at the end of the year I can still go on to play next season. Maybe yes or no. So at this time, I'm about to go on a vacation, and before I do, I go see a doctor to be able to get like some stem cells in my knee where I had the ACL repair.
Okay.
It being a whole year, me doing treatment on it a whole year. So now let me just give it some good cells in there and
Mhm.
restore or help promote anything that is possible. I get that shot, I get on the flight, I head back home, and I head back home with my knee hurting me. I'm thinking it was just on the plane. come to find out, my knee swells up and it's infected.
Oh.
In 3 days, I had to have two surgeries to pull out because this was the knee that I had the infection in, which is also the knee that I had the ACL in.
Okay.
So I had screws in my knees, so they had to take out the screws that was holding my ACL together. Not only that, they had to flush it out with saline. I remember the doctor telling me that it was like a greenish color,
Oh.
you know
God.
what I mean, when they got in there. So after that, I felt like going back to the injury in 2018
Mhm.
and then, 2019, pretty much I had the plantar fasciitis, but my knee was bothering me that year as well. Then
Mhm.
I get then I get to so that's 2 seasons, right? I'm on IR. 18, I'm on IR.
Mhm.
2019, I'm on IR. And then I'm going into San Fran. Yeah. I was on IR because of my hamstring.
Mhm.
But then to get that more surgeries on my knee, that makes it a total of 4 knee surgeries I've had. So I decided then that I wasn't going to play anymore.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And then this is where the most interesting part, right? I mean, you had a hell of an NFL career. Outside the NFL, what did you finally start getting into? I mean, you've gotten into, I mean, there's a couple things that you got into. You got into real estate. You did a couple foundations. Talk to me about your steps into what's first was the foundation and then real estate, or was real estate always in the back of your mind? Because a lot of people are into real estate now. I mean, I need to start jumping on. I can't sell like you though. I'll give you that. I mean,
Yeah.
man is killing it.
So man, look, I'll tell you this.
Hmm.
Everything that I started after football, I was already doing during football.
Or football? Okay.
Yeah, so my foundation, for example, I started that in 2015. It's called the SIP Squad
Yeah.
at Risk Foundation. SIP Squad is because, that's what my following always known me as. And I said, hey, what better to put that on than my foundation? And what SIP Squad does is just really give back into the community. It provides experiences and opportunities and programming for young kids to be able to honestly just shoot for the stars. Talk about my neighborhood. I just remember in North Miami Beach, there's not too many times you leave your neighborhood, you
Hmm.
know. Maybe you go to Orlando one day, but for example, me being born and raised in Miami, my family didn't go to the beach a lot, right? But I think my own experience from high school, going to college, and meeting different people, and just understanding different people and seeing different things, being exposed to those things, or know people who have been. I just realized the effect of that and how inspirational that can be, and how motivated you can make somebody by
Hmm.
literally just showing them something that and them figuring out if it's possible for them or not. So that's what I've been doing with Sip Squad.
That's
And
all.
when I retired, I decided to say, hey, look, let me continue to do this and just make this more of a legacy thing and continue to help people. Another thing I did was go back to my university at FIU.
Mhm.
I was invited back to the hospitality school. I'm a hospitality grad. FIU has been ranked in the top 10, really top 8 for the last, 15 years maybe when it comes to hospitality.
Mhm.
And I was invited back there. I started to make friends with those who invited me back. I sit on the advisory board for the advisory board for the athletics department. And last but not least, I'll say real estate. Real estate was something that I was doing while I was playing. I would buy properties and I would rent them
Mhm.
out. The first home that I bought wasn't for me. It wasn't for my mom, but it was for someone else. It was a random person who was paying me rent. And I started with that home and I continue to do it with more and more. I continue to move into commercial properties.
Okay.
Um, and as I transitioned, I became a realtor,
Hmm.
and two, I started to be able to use the relationships that I built on different football teams to kind of just tell them my story of how real estate just benefited me when I was done playing football.
Yeah.
How I was able to still have passive income, um, coming in to pay the bills and the lifestyle that I created for myself, you
Mm.
know. So it's just a real story. And I think every athlete, specifically football, just because, I really walked that line, or I really saw it, so I can kind of speak from a different area.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been going pretty well.
And what do you enjoy the most about about selling houses, man?
Yeah, so me being on the real estate side of it, what I enjoy about it most, one is the negotiation,
Okay.
getting
Okay.
getting a deal done,
Mm-hmm.
that both people are in favor of, or happy with. And two is just finishing a deal. I love to seeing something through.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, we had a mission. For example, there's homes for specific people that I'm selling right now. They're trusting in me to do that. So I just want to deliver. So, being able to give a closing gift to
Mm-hmm.
people, or being able to just, fulfill my promise to people, it's fulfilling.
Definitely, man. And you only do it in Florida, or you kind of sell all around the world? You said all around the world, right?
No, I actually sell all around the world. Every every state in Florida, mainly the states with NFL teams, where I help people with either relocating,
Okay.
um, yeah, even draftees. So I'm able to work in every state, by partnerships that I have, and then outside of that, when we talk about outside of the country, I just do the same thing as I travel outside of the country, and I
Mhm.
make relationships with real estate professionals there to be able to learn and have them as my eyes on the ground in these different countries in case I need any information, or be able
Mhm.
to send any clients to them.
That's awesome, man. And like I said, you're killing it in the real estate part, man. I know a few people that have gone into that, former players that have gone into real estate, but they're not doing it just as good as you, man. So keep doing that, keep grinding, man. It's what you're doing is awesome. So before I let you go, brother, I just want to say I appreciate um your time with me. I know time is a very valuable thing. I appreciate your hard work on the field, man. You were a blast to watch, especially in Tennessee. Not too much in Jacksonville. Tennessee, I liked you in, man, and loved everything you did, man. You left your blood, sweat, and tears. And as Titan fans, I could say this that we appreciate your time and your effort and that hit on Travis Kelce. But I just want to say thank you, though, man.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. And I appreciate you guys being fans of the Titans, fans of myself, and you'll see me doing a lot more in the future, hopefully.
Absolutely, man. God bless and tighten up, brother.
Tighten up. God bless.